New this morning, data from payroll giant ADP shows small businesses are starting to crack amid a weakening economy and rising costs and fickle consumers. 32,000 jobs were lost last month, largest monthly drop in 2.5 years. Private employers have shed jobs in 4 of the past 6 months. CNN chief data analyst Harry Enten is here with us now. So we're talking about jobs. How do people feel right now about the jobs market overall?
It's rough out there. That's how folks feel about it. It's rough, rough, rough. I mean, just take a look here. Good time to find a quality job among U.S. employees. You go back 3.5 years ago, look at this. It was the clear majority, 70%. Remember, there was all that talk about quiet quitting. Oh, I'm going to leave my job. I'll find another one. No longer do we feel that's the case. Look at this. That is a drop of more than half, down to just 33% in the latest reading of Gallup back in August of 2025. The bottom line is 3 years ago, we were dealing with what Americans thought was a good job market. Now they think it is a terrible job market for those who are trying to get out and potentially get a job.
Yeah, that's just a big drop.
It's huge.
And people didn't like the economy then, and it's still a huge drop. All right, how do people think the president is doing when it comes to jobs?
Yeah, if you see this drop of more than half, this slide won't surprise you. I mean, Trump's net approval rating on jobs and employment in January, he was at plus 9 points. Hey, pretty gosh darn good, well above water. But look at this now. Look at this now. That is a drop of nearly 30 points. And over the course of his presidency, the minus 19 points, and then my little nugget down here, he's at minus 35 points on the net approval rating. There, we'll zoom right in with independence. That's some great camera work right there. So look, the bottom line is this. On jobs and employment, it was a plus for Trump coming in. It was one of the reasons they got elected, and now it is a massive, massive negative, in large part because it's just tough to get a job out there, according to those who are trying to do so.
But Harry, my 401k is doing so well. The stock market is up for the year.
Yeah, your 401k is doing pretty gosh darn well, but that's not what Americans look to in terms of judging the economy. I mean, ways to judge the economy is good. 37% say the stock market. That's well less than the majority. The clear majority, 54%, say the jobs report, the unemployment numbers. That's the way they judge whether or not the economy is good when it comes to those national metrics. So the jobs reports potentially being bad, that is far, far, far more important and far more devastating than the president. He can't just point to the stock market, because when you have ADP numbers like we had coming out this week, that's a massive negative in the minds of the American public.
This doesn't explain it away for most people, because they think the jobs is really what's important here. So how do people think it's going to go when it comes to the jobs market?
Yeah, okay. So you know what? We had the ADP, but of course we'll be getting in a little bit time the actual numbers from the U.S. government on this, and the chance November's unemployment rate, according to the prediction market odds, is above the previous 4.4%. 70% chance that we have a worse unemployment rate in the next jobs report coming out than what we previously had. That's where people were putting their money where their mouth is, and it's not much of a surprise when you have that ADP number coming out like we did earlier on, because right now it just looks rough out there.
So the people betting on this think it's going to get worse.
You got it exactly right, Mr. Berman.
Harry Enten, great to see you this morning. Thank you very much.
A worrying sign for the U.S. economy. A new report from the payrolls firm ADP estimates that 32,000 private sector jobs were lost in November. Small businesses are, in the words of the report, starting to crack as the economy gets weaker. 4 of the last 6 months have now shown job losses. The numbers were much worse than economists had been expecting. CNN's Matt Egan has more now from New York.
Yeah, Max, this was another brutal report on America's job market, revealing significant weakness in November, especially among smaller businesses. So ADP says that private payrolls fell by 32,000 jobs in November. Now, not only is that much worse than the expected gain of 40,000 jobs, this is the worst month since March of 2023. Now, we never want to make too much about any one month, but when you look at the trend, it doesn't look encouraging either. ADP says that private payrolls fell in June, August, September, and November. So that means businesses shed jobs in 4 out of the last 6 months. And the closely watched 3-month average turned negative for the first time since the summer of 2020. Of course, that was during COVID. Now, small businesses are clearly facing the most pressure right now. ADP says that employers with fewer than 50 employees, they cut 120,000 jobs in November. Medium and large companies, they continue to hire. And I have to say, this echoes what I've heard from small business owners who say that they're hurting right now from tariffs, from high costs, and from expensive financing. Now, the good news is that healthcare and leisure and hospitality, they continue to add workers, but that's kind of it. Elsewhere, we saw a significant job loss in information, finance, construction. Manufacturing continues to lose jobs, which is the exact opposite of what the White House is trying to make happen with those historically high tariffs. Now, normally investors, economists, Fed officials, they put less weight on this ADP report because it has kind of a mixed track record at predicting the more important official labor market numbers. But because of the government shutdown, those official numbers, they've been delayed and they've been messed with. So this is really all we have at the moment. In fact, this is the last significant labor market indicator that Fed officials will have before they meet in Washington next week to decide on whether or not to continue cutting interest rates. And we know Fed officials have been divided about what to do next, but I gotta believe that this report was weak enough that it's going to persuade Fed officials who are on the fence to back another interest rate cut, because right now this is a job market that looks like it could use the help.